Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tom Worth Jr. Wanted to get a few quick hits in tonight. We've got the Zelenskyy meeting tomorrow. But before we get to that, a couple things. I'm sure many of you have heard of this February 28th shopping blackout. I believe it started, and tomorrow's the 28th. I first heard about this on Blue Sky maybe a week ago or so, maybe a little more, and I thought it was just kind of funny. But I don't know, maybe it'll be something. It's from midnight tonight through midnight Friday night, tomorrow night, and it started out with trying to hurt or harm some of the businesses that are all in on Trump. Your Amazons, your Targets, really the businesses rolling back their DEI things, I believe. And then I saw Walmart and Best Buy added to that. Now it seems to be more of a just general purchasing strike for 24 hours. Just don't buy anything. Don't buy a cup of coffee. Don't buy any groceries. Don't buy anything. You need some food or medicine. You're all out. Do what you need to do. But just to show the companies that we can band together. The right was really effective at this back. They've been doing it for years for all of their persecution of various groups. They will target companies who, support various groups or are okay with all people. The right would attack these companies if they did it in a public way. If they said, we support your right to exist and to be the way you are. The right hates that. So they would have economic targeting of companies that would do that. And it's pretty effective. So I think this would be a way to show these companies that there is also a left. There is also another side of that coin. And it's not going to put anyone out of business or make Jeff Bezos any richer. You can delay your purchases and just buy it Saturday or whatever. They won't feel it, but they will see it. If you're in any kind of retail environment, you're always looking at daily sales numbers. And as a company, if they see a big enough blip for Friday, February 28th, maybe they will think twice. Maybe we can get a taste of standing together and acting collectively. I think it's a great idea. Hopefully it gains more traction, seeing a steady posting online of various people kind of getting wind of this. And I thought I'd do my part tonight. I thought about doing it last night, but figured tonight would be more effective since it starts at midnight tonight, and it'll be fresh on everyone's mind. By all accounts, Trump and Keir Starmer Sir Keir Starmer, love saying sir. I don't know how you become a sir in the British Empire. I know Elton John was, and I think some business people are. Whatever. Hopefully, it's not something like the Medal of Freedom here in the United States, where you can have a situation where Donald Trump is hanging a medal over Rush Limbaugh's neck. May he rest in peace, even though I hated the guy. Would like for him to rest in peace. I don't think it's like that to be knighted, but I think it's a pretty cool thing. We don't have knights here in the States. Tomorrow's the big show with Vladimir Zelenskyy, and the big nothing burger, as I've called it. I don't think anything's going to come of it. Maybe you would have some sort of ceremonial signing of some sort of, yes, we're signing a thing that says we might sign something else in the future that actually needs to be ratified by our governments and would actually be able to kind of expect the other side to adhere to. Hopefully that would happen eventually. I don't see that being tomorrow. There's all kinds of things they don't agree on, but just Zelenskyy being at the White House is pretty huge, and I like to see it. Even though we know it's just Trump being a publicity hound and wanting to make it look like he's doing everything right. Something really got to him because he went from sending his stooges over to Munich and Riyadh a couple weeks ago, and then himself from Mar-a-Lago saying Zelenskyy is the dictator. Zelensky's Ukraine started the war. All these terrible things to complete about face, and I think that was because his face was, Putin's face was on the front page of the New York Post a week ago saying this is a dictator. And Fox News turned on him for this. A few Republican senators actually spoke up in pretty strong words about, not criticizing Trump at all, but about what a terrible, terrible, evil person, murderous, everything you want to say person that Putin is. And we should never align with him. And so Trump really felt that, and he's done a complete about face through the week. He's backed off of what he said, and to the point where today in the press conference with Starmer, somebody asked him about calling Zelenskyy a dictator, and he said something along the lines of, oh, "Really? Did I say that? Oh, wow. Okay. Next question." So he's just really backed off of it, and that means that there are lines that he still cannot cross yet. I was watching a thing on the 70s. It was on HBO. I think CNN did it a few years ago, but it was just, they have one for each decade. The 80s, I had watched the Fall of the Berlin Wall a few weeks ago, episode of that. But the one I had watched from the 70s was going from Ford to Carter, basically the short Ford presidency to Carter's presidency to the election of Ronald Reagan. So the last 4 years of the 70s. But there's a few minutes in it, and everybody says Jimmy Carter was a terrible president, but an amazing man. And there's a part in it where he is trying to do the impossible, and that is bring peace to the Middle East. This is just, it's in late 1977, so just 4 years after the Yom Kippur War. And you had every Arab country refusing to acknowledge the right to exist of Israel. And you had Egypt was maybe our largest Arab ally at that time. Anwar Sadat was over here. He had a good rapport with Carter, and so did Menachem Begin, from the Israeli prime minister. So Carter brings them to Camp David in Maryland and basically forces them to all stay in these little cabins and hash something out. And it's going to be a day. It's going to be 2 days. It turns into a week. And there would be no deal. And this was crushing for Carter. And apologies to those of you who have seen this, so you're hearing me rehash this. But at the end of the time there, they're not going to have an agreement. And Carter's crushed. And Sadat's upset. And Carter had pictures of him and his family, and he signed a bunch of them to give to Begin because he had met Begin's children and signed them all. Love Jimmy Carter. And he told Begin that I had hoped to be able to write something on all these pictures about here was the place your dad and I made peace. And unfortunately, we can't say that. And so they all went back to their cabins, and then Carter was telling Sadat there would be no deal. And then the phone rang in that cabin, and it was Begin saying he'll sign the deal. Hugs, tears, everything. It's hard not to get choked up, even just watching that from 50 years ago. Just so monumental that an Arab country would be the first to recognize Israel's right to exist. Of course, assassination changes everything. With these things, there are just always going to be the elements that will not have peace no matter what. They would rather assassinate leaders who agree to peace than actually have the peace. We still have those people in the world today, obviously. But it was pretty awesome. And, I wish Trump could be that guy. Like, for for 5 minutes. He never could. He never can. Even if he wanted to, Putin wouldn't allow it. He doesn't want to. I'm not kidding myself here. I'm not expecting anything. But you just have three guys in that room who they have zero chance, as assessed by the entire world, to come to an agreement with the United States brokering it. Could you imagine Zelenskyy and Putin and Trump hosting them and them working something out as they did in Camp David in 1977? I couldn't imagine that, but I was alive then. I was a kid. I'm sure that was equally unimaginable, maybe more so, because they had just had a war in 1973 and another one in 1967. I don't know. Anything's possible. That would be my hope. That would be my wish, for something to come out of tomorrow. Something concrete. Something that they could build on. Something that would completely change the narrative. I would love that. Wouldn't change the fact that Trump is the worst president in the history of the country and the biggest threat to democracy in the world. But at least we could get some peace in Ukraine, and that's what I would wish for those people. That's it for tonight. Hope everyone's doing all right, and we will talk again tomorrow.